Hello, Patriots. Happy Monday. Happy Columbus Day, because it is no longer Indigenous People Day thanks to Donald Trump. Big news as always. Donald Trump has done, frankly, like the impossible. So in 3,000 years, we've never seen a deal like we have seen that has occurred in the Middle East between Israel, Hamas, and frankly, all the other nations against Iran. We're seeing a shift in the Middle East, and it is a great and wonderful and awesome thing to see. We're going to cover that pretty extensively tonight. Even CNN is celebrating this. Will this be the thing that gets Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize? I hope so. The Abraham Accords back in like 2016, 2017, he should have got the Nobel Peace Prize for that. Unfortunately, the left controls all of these institutions and situations, and we never see Donald Trump get a Nobel Peace Prize, even though I think he definitely deserves one. But we'll see what's coming up. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back in 47 seconds.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Harsh to win seal. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
So as Donald Trump arrived in Tel Aviv this weekend, we saw the Israelis welcomed him with a giant sign across the beach. Let's watch this.
Attention on board Air Force One. If you look off the right side, you will see the welcome President Trump sign.
This massive sign going down the entire beach outside of Israel, welcoming Donald Trump and thanking Donald Trump for this peace deal. Now, contrary to what your friends on the left may tell you or the media may tell you, Israel does not want war. Israel wants peace. And sometimes to get peace, you have to use a serious and overwhelming force or violence. You know, war is an ugly thing, but it's not the ugliest thing. But violence sometimes will get you to peace. Israel did everything Israel was supposed to do. Now, it has been 2 years since October 7th, almost to the day when we got this peace deal, where they kidnapped hostages. They killed, I think, 1,500 innocent Israeli people, murdered people at a festival. I mean, what Hamas did and the Palestinians did was absolutely horrific and horrible. And Joe Biden, frankly, did nothing to fix this situation. But then again, the guy doesn't even know if he's alive or not. Here is Air Force One coming in over Israel.
The president is about to land. He will be addressing the Israeli Knesset, as Jennifer said, only the fourth U.S. president to do so. And he will be receiving essentially a hero's welcome in Israel for his role in making this day happen. Even many Democrats in this country who have been loath to give President Trump any credit for much of what his administration has accomplished thus far, they have been heaping praise on the president. Even Hillary Clinton suggested that he is very deserving of congratulations for bringing Hamas and the Israelis together, along with the other governments in that part of the world, Jordan, Qatar, Israel, Saudi Arabia, bringing them together to make this peace deal happen. The president is about to...
Absolutely historic. This is a historic moment that should be celebrated by everybody. What has been accomplished I'm not going to say we accomplished it, but what we accomplished as the United States is something that has never been done before. This may very well be the end of this conflict. This conflict has been happening since Jesus was around. Thousands of years, this conflict has been happening in this area, over this soil, over this area for more than 3,000 years. And I think we finally have something. Now, how optimistic am I that this is the end of it? I don't know. We're going to see. But I think for at least the time being, we stopped this current battle or this current conflict. And that's more than anybody could ask for. I do firmly believe that if Donald Trump was president of the United States when October 7th in 2023, the violence would have never happened. I do believe that. He was not placating with terrorists. He's not playing around. He did bomb Iran's nuclear weapons programs, which I think aided in this peace deal. They had basically no leverage. All their proxies, Israel had completely and utterly wiped out. Israel's military is next level for those of you that don't understand. But here is Donald Trump on the tarmac with his umbrella. I love how he holds his own umbrella, unlike Barack Obama, who had Marines hold it. Remember that?
And I guess if you read your own papers and your own networks, everybody's very excited about this moment in time. So I'll see you on the plane. I think you're traveling with us, but this is a very special event. They had 500,000 people yesterday and today in Israel, and also the Muslim and Arab countries are all cheering. Everybody's cheering at one time. That's never happened before. Usually if you have one cheering, the other isn't. The other is the opposite. This is the first time everybody is amazed and they're thrilled, and it's an honor to be involved. And we're going to have an amazing time, and it's going to be something that's never happened before. So I'll see you on the plane, and we're going to have a good time. Okay, Peter? Nice.
That's Trump before he went to Air Force One. We had covered this briefly on an episode on, I think it was Friday, where the peace deal had been. We were notified that the peace deal had been reached, and that we were going to. The first part of the peace deal was for the hostages to be released. That has occurred today and this weekend. All 20 of them, the 20 that are alive, are all back home with their families. There was some skepticism of whether or not that was going to happen. But here is Donald Trump speaking about the hostages.
And I have a prediction that Marco will go down, I mean this, as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. I believe that. I believe it. And he and I, we really fought it out. You remember, he was tough. He was nasty. Who the hell thought this was going to happen, Marco, right? And now I'm saying he's going to go down as the greatest. He will. He was always smart and sharp, and people respect him.
He's talking about their presidential run together, and anybody who runs against Donald Trump is in for a fight for sure, like 100%. But the entire world seems to be celebrating this. And I think what Donald Trump is going to do is he's the same thing he did with the election. He's going to make it where it's uncheatable. They're not going to be able to stop him getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Here is Benjamin Netanyahu giving Donald Trump some kudos.
I have to tell you, I've seen a lot of American presidents. I've seen them all in the time that I've been here, and I've been here quite a lot of time. I've never seen anyone move the world so quickly, so decisively, so resolutely as our friend President Donald J. Trump.
In 8 months of Donald Trump's presidency, he solved this massive problem in the Middle East. I mean, that is historic in such a short amount of time. And that's why I say, had he been president, I don't think that this conflict would have gotten as far. I don't think that it would have been as horrific. I think it would have definitely been more challenging for Hamas to continue. I think they would have gotten the resources and support that they needed, and it basically would have been the end of it. I don't see how Joe Biden would have been able to do anything. Had he been reelected or Kamala Harris been reelected, this is not what you would see. This is actual, real presidential leadership. Here is CNN, who is absolutely just stunned at the crowd in Tel Aviv wearing MAGA hats. They're wearing MAGA hats celebrating Donald Trump.
And, of course, endless applause for President Trump. Endless applause for President Trump.
And when I was there, I even saw people wearing Make America Great Again hats in that crowd over at Hostage Square.
So Hostage Square is a place where people can go and grieve and protest and to celebrate or whatever they want to do with the hostages. But the welcoming of Donald Trump is incredible. Here is a clip of the crowd at Hostage Square holding up photos of Donald Trump and the hostages.
J. Trump, the greatest president the world has ever seen. Thank you.
That was White House special. That was, oh, actually, we're going to stay with this Jared Kushner now.
Look at the size of the crowd.
I agree with you. Thank you, Witkoff.
This is
I've had the
Witkoff
great honor
and Kushner.
for the last 10 months.
J. Trump, the greatest president.
It's just unbelievable, the welcome that he got. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Here is Donald Trump again speaking in Israel.
Yet even to Iran, whose regime has inflicted so much death on the Middle East, the hand of friendship and cooperation is open. I'm telling you, they want to make a deal. That's all I do in my life. I make deals. I'm good at it. I've always been good at it. And I know when they want. Even if they said, we don't want to make a deal, I can tell you they want to make a deal. All right, they do. They want to make a deal, and we're going to see if we can do something, because this is crazy what's happening, and we're not going to have this anymore. Neither the United States nor Israel bear the people of Iran any hostility. We merely want to live in peace. We don't want any looming threats over our heads, and we don't want to even think in terms of nuclear destruction. It's not going to happen, never will happen. Yet even to Iran...
Iran is like a little whimpering puppy at this time. Iran has been complete. So Iran's proxies, the Houthi rebels, and Hamas is one of their proxies. They're funded by Iran, right? They're funded by Iran. They're supported by Iran. Israel is fully capable of basically taking out the entire Middle East by itself, right? That's designed that way because the entire Middle East wants to kill them, right? That's just frankly how it's been for thousands of years, right? Since the Romans. But they're more than capable, but with the assistance of the United States, they're unstoppable. And Iran's proxies have been basically annihilated and eliminated. I mean, the Gaza Strip is just a pile of rubble, and I don't care. I'm happy about that. You don't get to be terrorists and invade a country and murder innocent civilians. You know, had Hamas on October 7th attacked military compounds, it wouldn't have been bad, but they went after innocent people. They murdered innocent people in the street. They killed people when they were sleeping. They put babies in ovens. They did horrible, dreadful, and atrocious things that should be responded with catastrophic violence. And that's what Israel did, and Israel was going to do. We covered it for years on this show. And I'm glad that they did. But the hostages have all been released. We're going to go over some videos of that, but here is CNN. Let's watch this clip.
Well, I think President Trump needs to know that we really thank him. And it was hard for us to say it in advance because we couldn't really believe that was true. 20 hostages are actually coming. All of them are alive. All of them look good. And the fact that he made it, he promised and he kept his word, and hostages are here, is just amazing. And we want to thank him for that. Well, I think
Israel is very happy. The Palestinian people are very happy. And there is a sigh of relief, I think, across the whole region. Even I think Iran. I think Iran really got the message when we dropped bombs on their nuclear program. And it was like this: we are the United States, where you're not developing a nuclear weapon. And if you try, we're going to bomb you into the next millennium. You saw what we did to Iraq. We saw what Israel did to the Gaza Strip. You're not going to win this battle. Here's more celebrations in Israel. Thank you, Trump. Chanting, "Thank you, Trump."
Celebrations still underway in what they're calling Freed Square now, no longer Hostage Square.
20 lives saved. I wonder how many would have been saved sooner if the Biden administration did not have power. I wonder how many would have been sooner if Joe Biden would have stood up and against the far leftists that called this agenda Israel's genocide. It's not a genocide. They have a right to defend themselves. Let's watch this clip from Real America's Voice.
Well, you see the outpouring from the Israeli people in the square. Also, the rest of the people at the Knesset greeting him were all smiles. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the president had just spent 45 minutes in the Beast, in the car from Ben Gurion Airport to the Knesset with Netanyahu. I mean, they traveled together. And like I said, like I asked Joel when they started off, I'd like to be the fly on inside the car to hear that conversation. Clearly, it wasn't hail fellow well met. The president had his game face on when he showed up. I've seen that look before. That's not the ebullient, President Trump. Then we got a shot inside the Knesset right now. But Bibi clearly was icy, and you said he didn't shake his hand after he signed the book. He specifically went and shook the Speaker of the Knesset's hand, but pretty evident did not turn and shake Bibi's. I don't want to read too much into that, but it was clearly icy when they got out of the car and got there. And I think it's because Bibi's not enthusiastic. This is a catastrophic defeat for the Israel First crowd here. Tel Aviv, Levin, and that crowd, I'm sure they're banging their heads on the wall. It's a catastrophic defeat because they overreached. They pushed this greater Israel project, and it came crashing down around them. As the President of the United States, when Bibi, he already took out the negotiating team for Iran, which we now know he bald-faced lied to the American people. And quite frankly, John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, should be hauled before the House about why he why he agreed with the Mossad's assessment that this thing was days or weeks away from a nuclear weapon, when the cabinet minutes in the cabinet debate was released by the Times of Israel, and they agreed that it was a minimum of 2 years, of which we said here in the war room. They went to kill the negotiating team that Steve Witkoff was supposed to meet with in Oman that Sunday, and really the hit the tripwire President Trump was Netanyahu, without talking to the United States, went and did a missile attack into Qatar, and to take out the negotiating team of Hamas. I mean, how are you going to make a deal? How are you going to try to get the hostages back?
Israel and the United States have different missions in this war. Israel was attacked and murdered. His innocent people were murdered. Now, I don't subscribe to these Israel's conspiracies. I think Israel is acting the way that we would act had this happened to us. If there was an organization in Mexico, like a drug cartel, and they came in and killed a bunch of Americans and then dragged them back over the border, 1,500 of them, and put babies in ovens and raped our women and killed our children. And I think we would respond with just as much ferocity. And if the United Kingdom or Russia was trying to pressure us for peace, we would say, go shit in your hat. You know, we're not interested. We're interested in eliminating this threat to make sure it never happens to us again. So some people on the right are subscribing to this anti-Israel dialogue, and it's something that I'm just not going to subscribe to unless, you know, there is evidence to suggest otherwise. But all I've seen from the Candace Owens and all these other they're not far right, but there are conservative podcasters. Even Tucker Carlson has kind of talked about it a little bit. There's you know, freaking conspiracy theories that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. I mean, get the hell out of here. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Israel is literally a tiny strip of land in the middle of the most hostile place on earth where everybody wants to kill them. Okay? They have to act in a certain way, and sometimes that certain way is overwhelming force of violence. That's how you keep the predators at bay. Here is the one of the hostages being released. Let's watch this.
אתה חייב לשתות קצת, נשמה, טיפה טיפה. הוא ביקש לשלוח את זה לחדשות, לשלוח את זה? למי לשלוח? זה קרה.
People just want it, and that's the thing with Trump is not gonna be best friends with everybody. He doesn't care. Trump wants the peace. He doesn't want war. He wants it to end. And I hope he can get this Ukraine-Russia situation under control too. Here is a lady in Tel Aviv thanking Trump for this historic agreement.
An American flag. To thank President Trump who forced the Hamas and Israeli government to sign for ending that war and bringing up all the kidnapped.
What does it feel like today?
Very big emotion. I cannot do anything at home. So I put my shirt and came, took so I was asking myself which flag I will take. So I took the American flag to thank from the bit of my heart to President Trump and to American people.
Brothers and sisters coming home. Thank God to Trump. Please thank God, America. We love you, Trump. Love you very much.
How do you feel today?
It's everybody.
Happy is not the word.
It's everybody.
You know, beyond happiness, everything.
They're waving American flags. These people don't want to die, man. They just want to be able to live their lives. Like we're incredibly spoiled here in the United States. You get up and you go to work every day without worrying about being hunted by a country next to you or bombed. You know, they have the Iron Dome that works 95% of the time. But the vast majority of people don't know what it's like to live like that. They don't want to live in a war-torn area. They just want to live their lives. And they want to worship their God, whichever God they choose. You know, we're very lucky here in the United States of America, and sometimes we forget that. Here is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson talking about this deal.
For the first time in 738 days, there are no living Israeli hostages buried in the tunnels and being held at the hands of Hamas. In just 8.5 months in office, President Trump and his administration have ensured the safe release and the return of all 20 living Israeli hostages from Hamas captivity, putting a lasting peace within reach for a region where we have all aspired to that for generations. This is a day of profound hope and joy for the entire free world, and a day only possible under the leadership and strength and fortitude of President Donald J. Trump and everyone recognizes that, and they're all talking about it around the world. With this historic achievement, President Trump has accomplished what others have only talked about or even tried and failed. Time and again, President Trump is demonstrating that American strength delivers and ensures peace for freedom-loving people around the world. As we've said so many times, it's the perception of a strong America that really holds the terrorists and tyrants at bay.
Yeah, like peace through strength, dude. That's basically the definition of it. But here is we're gonna go over some clips, but this is good, man, and I'm glad that everybody's celebrating. I'm glad Israel is celebrating. Steve Bannon in that clip we just watched previously to Mike Johnson, talking about like how Israel and didn't really get everything they want in the deal. And like I said, I don't think Donald Trump cares. I think he wants the world to be at peace. And I do too. And that's why, you know, the number one thing trending on Twitter right now is the president of peace. Because that's kind of what he campaigned on. He's going to go down as a very high top tier president. His comeback is legendary. From 2016 on, from the 2020 election onward, his comeback, his rerun, his re-election, his indictments. I mean, their history is going to be very kind to Donald Trump, and it's not going to be very kind to the Democratic Party, who continues to play this stupid game with this government shutdown. How you saw in that clip, or for those of you on the podcast listening who didn't see, it was Mike Johnson had a sign, and it was just all the Democrats voting against paying the troops, and Donald Trump notified Pete Hegseth to go ahead and divert some Pentagon funds and make sure our troops get paid. You know, it's interesting when there's a government shutdown, the Congress people still get paid, but our troops don't get paid. So the people voting against the shutdown, or voting for a shutdown, or voting against a continuing resolution will continue to get paid. So it doesn't affect them. But if you started hitting their wallet, all of a sudden they would get it taken care of. Let's watch this other hostage come home. Wrapped in Israeli flags.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
These are more hostages meeting their families for the first time in 2 years. Families very excited, wearing Israeli flags, loving and kissing their loved ones. 2 years living in a tunnel. Very skinny. And that's what we voted for. That's what I voted for. Damn right, that's what I voted for. To stop this freaking madness in the world. This is, we're going to go back to this. I know we're kind of jumping around, but this is Trump in the Israeli parliament when he arrived, getting a standing ovation. That's a huge honor, and it goes to show you Just exactly what, like the lengths that we went through to get this deal done. Here is CNN doing what they do, trying to push the agenda during this moment that's supposed to be celebration. Let's watch this.
And I think for sure, people who start to talk to the hostages who've only just been released will find that it will take a long, long time for them to recover physically, but also mentally. It's been a terrible, terrible 2 years for them, because not only are they there, you know, they're probably being treated better than the average Gazan because they are the pawns and the chips that Hamas had. Now Hamas...
They're being treated better than the average Gazan. The hostages. You see, like, what? Why can't CNN just say we're very happy that this war is over? Why do they got to push this stupid agenda? They got to push it, man. They can't stop. They're like, oh, yep. Well, these hostages, they weren't treated so bad. What's the big deal? They were only kidnapped from their homes and hidden in tunnels for 2 years. What's the big deal? They're better than, they got treated better than the way that your average Gazan did. What are you talking about? It's just CNN just making crap up to fit their agenda. It's the most ridiculous thing that you could possibly imagine. And the fact that they keep doing it is mind-blowing to me. Because they're getting creamed in the polls. CNN's viewership is getting creamed. MSNBC's viewership is getting creamed. They're still doing it. Watch it again.
I think for sure, people who start to talk to the hostages who've only just been released will find that it will take a long, long time for them to recover physically, but also mentally. It's been a terrible, terrible 2 years for them, because not only are they there, you know, they're probably being treated better than the average Gazan because they are the pawns and the chips that Hamas had. Now Hamas has given up all its leverage, by the way, by giving them all up. So that is a victory for the Israeli horror. And
it's shocking. Well, I shouldn't even say it's shocking, because it's definitely not shocking, knowing CNN. Here are more hostages being released, coming out of the van, seeing their family for the first time. The support is just amazing. The support of the country is just amazing. People are thrilled, as they should be. Here's another family all meeting, waiting as they burst into tears, watching their loved ones being released back to them. Let's watch this one.
I'm very, very excited and in anticipation, you know, and also worried about every step. I want to see that everything will go well, but I'm really thrilled to have Alon soon with us.
I mean, what a great feeling. I hate to say it, but after 2 years, you would almost lose hope. You would never know if they were injured. You would never know if they were being killed, or if they were alive. You could be getting word that they're alive, but you wouldn't really know. And that's the hard. That would be just excruciatingly hard. Here, so this, I wanted to show you guys this. This is a clip that Charlie Kirk posted on October 7th of 2023 of MSNBC. And it's important. Let's watch this.
The Israelis right now, Israel has been in upheaval for a year now about these so-called judicial reforms. At the beginning of the year, Benjamin Netanyahu became prime minister again. Israelis have been taking to the streets by the hundreds of thousands protesting this wildly unpopular government. This is the kind of thing that unites a country. When you send 2,200 rockets overnight into Israel, do the internal protests in Israel fall away as Israelis rally around Benjamin Netanyahu, who will clearly come down on Hamas in Gaza with an iron fist?
Yeah, and I was just in Israel covering those protests against that judicial effort by Netanyahu. And, you know, there's a lot of anger in Israel, particularly in Tel Aviv, against Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a deeply divided country. Benjamin Netanyahu's efforts to try to railroad through his judicial, well, he calls it reforms, you know, that was very, very contentious there, very controversial. I couldn't think of a better gift for Benjamin Netanyahu right now than this kind of incursion. He can now position
calling this a gift
himself, as he has repeatedly throughout his very long tenure running Israel. He can now say,
calling it a gift. October 7th, MSNBC is calling it a gift to Benjamin Netanyahu. That's their mentality, because that's how they think. They think in terms of, how can this benefit me? How can this benefit the cause or our party? And that's how they use everything. I thought that was important to share. But the treaty, we still got a ways to go. But the biggest thing is that the hostages are gone. That's the biggest thing. And let's watch this clip of CNN. This one's interesting. Check it out.
Obviously, there have been many Palestinian journalists who were there reporting throughout this war. But that's another big question here.
First of all, there are no Palestinian journalists. There are idiots running around with cell phones, videotaping things on TikTok and claiming to be journalists. There's no such thing as a Palestinian journalist, because Palestine is not a country. Palestine does not exist. Israel exists, and there are people there who call themselves Palestinians, but they're not. They live in Israel. Sorry, that's a fact. So there's no like legitimate news organization. They're I guess you could say they're independent journalists. I'm an independent journalist, but the fact that like, oh, Israel's killing and massacring these Palestinian journalists, like these idiots have never even been over there.
Many Palestinian journalists who were there reporting throughout this war. But that's another big question here is when other reporters will be able to get a full look at the damage inside of Gaza.
Well, Caitlin, you can imagine that's a question that I'm asking every day, and surely all of my colleagues. It is unconscionable that we have not been able to go in and help our Gaza colleagues tell the full story to the world.
Gaza colleagues, your Gaza colleagues. They're calling these people their colleagues. These are the people that are holding up dead dolls, dolls, and pretending that they're children. They're propagandists. They're members of the terrorist organization Hamas. That's who these people are. And CNN is calling them their colleagues. These people are so out of touch.
Just something that I've never seen any democratic nation forbid outside journalists, and I've asked every Israeli official who I've interacted with over the last 2 years, publicly and privately, to open the doors and let us in. And I pretty much can assure you that once those doors are opened, it will be a scene of absolute abject horror. And I think for sure, people who start to talk to the hostages who've only just been released will find that it will take a long, long time for them to recover physically, but also mentally. It's been a terrible, terrible 2 years for them, because
we watched this clip already.
Not only are they there,
this part of it,
you know, they're probably being treated better than the average Gazan, because they are the pawns.
They're being treated better than the average Gazan. I'm going to fast forward that because we just watched that. But they're being treated better than your average Gazan. Is Palestinian journalists who work for Hamas, who are showing dead children or pretending that they're dead dolls. is journalism. They call them their colleagues. CNN is a disgusting news organization. I wouldn't even call it that.
But they will have had so much horror and terror as well, because they were also in the war zone. Many of them underground, we understand, from those who we've spoken to in the past. We'll hear more details, but that'll be incredibly difficult, and everything that they will have so much more at their disposal in Israel, you know, a proper world country that has all the medical and mental health facilities and all the rest of it. They will be able to help their people. In Gaza, the medical facilities are destroyed. I mean, the idea that there's any mental health facilities that can help 2 million people is just a farce. There isn't, obviously. And they need to start eating to be able to survive, start drinking clean water, start being able to treat their families. The follow-on medical and mental health issues are going to be long and very, very difficult. And in the big picture again, if there's not a political resolution, and every Israeli military, intelligence, security official who I have ever talked to, including former prime ministers, have said, our existential threat as the state of Israel is not to be able to resolve this conflict.
Well, it looks like Trump has actually resolved it with your terrorist colleagues. Insane. As Trump was speaking, a couple of pro-Hamas people protested. Watch this.
Over and over again.
להוציא את חבר הכנסת עודה, להוציא אותו מהאולם, להוציא אותו מיד, החוצה, החוצה.
Please expel this Knesset member. Please expel this Knesset member.
להוציא גם את חבר הכנסת כסיף. להוציא את חבר הכנסת כסיף מהאולם.
Expel Knesset member Kasif out of the hall. Please expel him immediately.
Immediately removed. Hey, Michelle. Welcome here. Yes, what nonsense from that reporter. I agree. Immediately removed.
Sorry for that, Mr. President.
That was very efficient.
Immediately got them out. Expelled. That's it. Even the leader of Pakistan, the prime minister of Pakistan, is coming out in support of Donald Trump. Matthew Spear, I love you too, buddy. Welcome on, man. Good to have you here. But even the prime minister of Pakistan is celebrating this. Now, like I said, this is all good stuff. Okay, this peace deal looks good. It looks great. I hope it lasts. But all it takes is one little incident, and then we're back to square one. Okay, but I don't think that's going to happen. It could, but just remember that this is the furthest that we've come in 3,000 years. Let's watch this.
To say, had it not been for this gentleman, not only, who knows, India and Pakistan are both nuclear powers. Had he not intervened along with his wonderful team, during those 4 days, the war could have escalated to a level. Who would have lived to tell what happened? And similarly, here in this part of the world, in the Middle East, Mr. President, your valuable contribution along with President Sisi, I think history will remember in golden words. I wouldn't say more, except God bless you, God give you long life to serve like this for all time to come. Thank you very much.
Everybody, it's everybody beefing Trump up. That doesn't happen. That does not happen in the world. That tells you how legit it is. It's not like Trump has freaking dirt on everybody, and everybody's just kissing his ass. That's not what's happening. I think sometimes that might happen because Trump's not going to mess around with you. He's going to do what he wants to do, and that's it. Hey, Kat, welcome on. Doesn't Shiwa work for Al Jazeera, the propaganda news network? Yeah, I think CNN is pretty similar to that. But we kind of started watching a clip from this earlier and got distracted. Let's watch this clip of Bibi again in Parliament.
And headed by our great friend, the President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
More kudos.
Welcome to Jerusalem, our eternal capital. Welcome to Israel in this moving day, exciting day that will be inscribed in the history of the annals of Israel, and you too, Mr. President, will be inscribed in the history of our nation. And you are already inscribed in the history of the world.
Can we get this man a freaking Nobel Peace Prize, please? What's it going to take? What's it going to take? We had the Abraham Accords. Now we have this. We have Pakistan thanking him from preventing nuclear war between them and India. Like, we have Benjamin Netanyahu thanking him. If he solves the Ukraine conflict, then does he get one? When does he get a freaking a Nobel Peace Prize? Barack Obama got one, a DEI one. Can we get this man a Nobel Peace Prize? Do you think he deserves one? If you do, put it in the comments. Let me know. Oh, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And visit ryanfsamuels.com/shop. Check out the cool new merch we got.
We remember our friends. We know your part, your important part, and the determined part of the return of the hostages in this day. When we were informed today, an hour ago, that all our live hostages returned back to us. What excitement. How long we've waited for this moment, and we have committed to return everyone. And I want to thank you personally and on behalf of the whole nation. Thank you, Mr. President, President Trump. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, I know that the teleprompters are working well, though I'm not using them. But I'm not sure about the translation. So I'll say words in English. President Trump, the Knesset welcomes you and your distinguished delegation to Jerusalem, our eternal capital. This is your first visit to Israel since you recognize Jerusalem as our capital and moved the embassy here. Thank you, President Trump, for that.
Donald Trump's the worst Nazi to ever exist. There's never been a worse Nazi than Donald Trump. How are you gonna do all of this for the Jews?
There are many other reasons to thank you since your last visit here. Thank you for recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Thank you for standing up to the lies against Israel in the United Nations. Thank you for recognizing in your 2020 peace plan our rights in Judea and Samaria, the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. Thank you for brokering the historic Abraham Accords.
Yep.
Avraham, Eskemei Avraham.
And just understand, everybody in the region wants this, except for maybe Iran. But Iran is just like a little withering nub at this point. They know their days are numbered, and if they do anything else, all of their security is gone. All of their proxies have been completely destroyed. The only thing left to do for the United States and Israel is to take over Iran, which we would do. I mean, don't think we wouldn't do that. We would do that. That was on the menu with Iraq. Originally, they wanted us to take over Iraq. Iraq was expected to be taken over within like 24 hours, and then we were going to hit Iran. We were going to take over the entire Middle East, get rid of all Islamic extremism. Like, that was the plan, but it got jacked up on the road to Baghdad, and then we got hit in Ramadi, and Fallujah 1, Fallujah 2 was just a really bad battle for Iraq. But had we taken it over, we would have went to Iran. Like, that was the original plan. But so Iran is really the only oddball out here, and they're either going to play ball or they're going to die. And that's what I call great diplomacy.
Thank you for withdrawing from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. Thank you for supporting Operation Rising Lion and for your bold decision to launch Operation Midnight Hammer. Boy, is that... You got to hear this. This is the most fitting name ever named for a military operation, because a little after midnight, you really hammered them. Oh, yeah.
I think Bibi's happy. I think any leader would be happy. I think Steve Bannon in that video he was talking about earlier, I think that some of these people on the right really need to kind of just check themselves and get off the I hate Israel. Israel's a conspiracy. Israel's out here killing Charlie Kirk. I think Candace Owens has completely lost her mind. And I don't think she's a very good journalist or podcaster anyway. But, you know, I think that as American citizens, you should be rooting for Israel, and not because of any biblical charge or biblical command or religious command. No, simply because it makes sense for the United States. Simply because the Middle East and Islam. The true Islamists want you dead. They want to kill you. The Quran, this book right here, which I have, and yes, I have read, okay? This book right here literally calls for your death. Sorry, you can disagree with me. I said it. It's true. Just look it up. Just look it up. But the Holy Quran literally just calls for, it's a battle cry. It's a warrior. It's like Muhammad married a 6-year-old and was responsible for the death of millions of people. Jesus was not. Jesus was the Son of God and a man of peace. There's a difference here. Okay? And I'm not, but when the whole center of your religion is devised around killing people of other religions, then your religion is invalid. Sorry. There are a lot of great people who are Muslim, but they're not like super into Islam. There's a difference. The further into Islam you get, they call it extremists. It's just like, but the further into Christianity you get, you don't really get extreme. You're not out murdering people because there are other things. So having an ally in the Middle East who gains intel, who keeps these people at bay, who contributes to the region economically and makes connections and ties, is crucial to the United States. It's crucial to help prevent another 9/11 or a bombing on the USS Cole or another Osama bin Laden. It's crucial to have that ally there. I'm not saying that we're going to kiss their butts and do everything in the world for them, but we need to help them because they help us for sure. And I think that these people on the right side of the aisle need to chill out. Like, no government is that efficient. I'm telling you that right now. To kill Charlie Kirk alive on television and get away with it, and calling it an exit wound. They hit his carotid artery. It just like whatever. But I don't subscribe to that. I'm not going to subscribe to that unless I actually think there is any validity to it. But be careful with these other podcasters, right? They sometimes they will sell a story to you that is interesting because then you stay on longer. The longer somebody gets paid on, stays on, the more money you can make. The more interesting the show is, the more they can, or the more entertaining the show is, the more people want to watch it, and then you create. A lot of them kind of create this show of suspense and let's say this and let's try to make this look this way to create this buzz, and then everybody will come watch it. And that's what Candace Owens is doing. And it's working because people are watching her show more now than ever before. But she's also getting sued by the Prime Minister of France because she swore that his wife was really a man, right? So there's consequences to that she's going to suffer and pay for, and it's not going to be good. But trust but verify. Ronald Reagan said that to Gorbachev in the meetings to end the Cold War. He said, I trust you, but I need to verify some things, right? And Gorbachev loved that about him. So always trust but verify, even me. Make sure you watch the Don't Unfriend Me show with Matthew Spear. They're great people. He was just on in the comments earlier. They looked at it from an objective angle. You're not going to get any lunatic conspiracy theorist stuff there either, unless it's true. Unless he comes to the conclusion through facts and evidence that, hey, look, if you put this all together, this is what it appears to be. But nothing's done entertainment-wise. It's just unfiltered truth, which is what we do here, which I believe is why our show is rated so high. So. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Check out this 1776 shirt. Okay. Go to ryanfsamuels.com/shop. And then you got this shirt right here, picture of the Capitol building that says, this is why we can't have nice things. And it's true. I would love to have nice things, but I can't because of the government. They're always in the way. Great day for the world. This is a truly great day for the world. This peace agreement hopefully will last another 3,000 years, and we can all move forward into living in prosperity and stop killing each other because it's ludicrous and it's out of control. We are live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can always catch the show on the podcast on your way to work. I publish it right as I get off. This is live. This is unfiltered. I typically don't really watch the videos. I watch some of them. I get the gist of what's going on because I want a genuine reaction. Nothing's coached, nothing's scripted. I just speak from my heart and not always my brain. That's something you'll learn. But thank you very much for tuning in. If you're not following the show, follow the show wherever you're watching this on, and we will see you tomorrow night. God bless.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.